Hey Internet, it's Jesse here at Ish Guitars. I'm with Jay Locke, and we dressed the exact same when we came to work today.
Like every day, obviously.
We're basically an old couple at this point. And today we're talking to you about, here it comes. All right, it's close enough. This is the Paul's 85 limited edition run private stock.
Super limited.
Super limited. So limited, in fact, there's only 36 of them in America. 85 for the world, 36 for America, though. That's not a lot of guitars. There's 50 states in the Union, so sorry, Hawaii and Alaska, you definitely didn't get one. Probably Kansas, too.
We'll see.
Sorry, Kansas.
Let's not alienate all the state viewers, you know.
I mean, obviously New York has one because we're dope.
Um,
But this is a super cool guitar. Actually, grab it if you want before it turns around again. So this is a guitar that is very high touch by Paul Reed Smith himself. They're actually... well, the woods were picked by Paul himself. They happened to get a batch of flame maple that Paul just thought was absolutely phenomenal. Some of the best stuff they've ever gotten. Similar to the, if you're familiar with PRS, the Graveyard 1 guitars. They came out a couple of years ago that were actually woods from a graveyard that had tombstones, similar years to the woods that were on 59 Les Pauls and stuff like that. So they were very old maples. So this is a similar, old growth maple that just resonated incredibly and looked incredible. The flame top on this is stupid. In the photos when they first posted them, to be honest, we were all kind of like, meh.
It's hard to tell.
In
it's
the
hard to tell
photos,
until you see it. Yeah.
Okay, you see this guitar in person, it literally glows. It's like you don't even need to put light on it, and it looks like it's glowing. It's crazy. It doesn't translate through camera. This whole guitar doesn't translate through camera. Really, everything about it. That's why we're making a video. Get as close as we can. So, he loved these tops, and so Paul said, I want to do a run of these guitars with these special tops. So Paul handpicked the flame tops. He handpicked all the other woods on the guitar, the body wood, the neck wood, everything. He handpicked for each guitar individually. He actually helped in the neck shaping process for each guitar too. So every single one, he had his hands on that neck specifically to get it perfectly honed in. And he even tweaked and set up each guitar himself. So usually we do...
that's wild.
Crazy, which is like so cool to think about that like...
He cares.
He was the last one to touch this guitar and play this guitar. Well, I guess now Jay's going to play it, so...
We'll see.
He's
Hopefully
pretty cool. He's almost as cool as Paul Reed Smith. But he was like the last one to play this guitar and set this guitar up. So we're not going to tweak it at all. Usually when guitars come in and out, we'll inspect them. We might tweak them a little bit, do something to them. We're not going to do anything to this. Along with this guitar, if you buy it, we're going to actually take all the specs. Our tech's going to take all the specs off the neck.
They came in.
Exactly, and put them on a card for you so you know. So inevitably when it does change with the seasons and stuff like that, you're able to get it back to that exact spec that Paul sent it with.
Super cool.
It's really, really cool. And Paul also designed the pickups on this himself too. These are Paul's guitar pickups, his signature pickups per se. And but those are even also a little bit tweaked for this guitar also too. He tweaked them a bit. And we were talking about this a second ago. He went with a stop tail. Very interesting.
I was a little curious initially, but just for intonation, I mean, it sounds great across the whole board. I think it actually resonates better with the stop that's fixed like this.
The non-adjustable.
Yep.
So, very much so, a stop tail to me always sounds better than trim.
Yeah,
right?
generally, yeah.
In general, and that's relatively commonly, known that a lot of times a stop tail, it just transfers more and whatever. But I agree with you that even the non-adjustable stop tail, I think sounds better than the adjustable. My personal guitar is a guitar that Paul Reed Smith sold me himself. It's a McCarty non-594. It just has a fixed bridge like that, and it was one of the shootout guitars that they used to test the 5815 TCI pickups.
Right.
It was one of the prototypes, and they tested this guitar against 59 Les Pauls and stuff like that to try and make sure that it was like sounding even better than one of those old Gibsons. And so I played at the factory, sold it to me. But that guitar, interestingly enough, I've always tried to figure out why it sounds so freaking good. Because it's a very simply spec'd guitar, and one of the things on there is it has that fixed bridge. So I think that's kind of an interesting point.
Simple stuff works.
You had a mirror that you switched the bridge from the fixed to the adjustable. Did you hear any tone difference?
Yeah, it was kind of like more of a touch thing. It definitely hurt it. I used and abused that Mira, as you're well aware.
Yeah.
I did some. It's chopped up.
World's jankiest Mira.
It sounds great though. It really actually is amazing.
Yeah.
But as I got much older, because it's 5 years old now, 6 years old, I ended up getting the adjustable stop tail. It still works. It's so much easier because it fixed up some of the intonation stuff I was having, but it doesn't have the resonance. And it's a super light guitar. This is really light.
So
It's like it really resonates super easily.
And actually, one thing I'm going to mention, because I'm sure someone's going to comment about this, with the adjustable or non-adjustable stop tail, you don't need to have an adjustable stop tail. You only need to if you're going to change string gauge or change tunings.
Yeah.
So think about an acoustic. How do you intonate an acoustic? You don't really. You can do some things to tweak it a little bit, but you really don't. It's because an acoustic is made generally for very specific tuning and string gauge. And if the guitar is built around that tuning and string gauge, you don't need to re-intonate it because it's not going to just change.
And you take care of it and make sure.
Yeah, and assuming that the neck,
humidity and everything stays
this different
happy.
stuff, right? All the angles are still correct. If the geometry changes, you don't need to adjust the intonation. The only time you need to adjust the intonation is if you change string gauges or tunings.
More drastic.
So if you're going to play, E standard on tens like the guitar was made for and designed for by Paul Reed Smith himself, then it's going to be just fine.
Yeah, it's
All right,
beautiful.
can we play it?
Yeah, of course. I've been waiting this whole time.
It's really good. Just go ahead, hit the neck pickup.
So this is neck. There are splits on here that we have down here for them, but this is just the neck. Everything's on 10. Get some smudge.
She sounds
Super balanced.
so fat and warm, and it's just perfect, juicy, syrupy guitar tone. It's so good.
Let's go to the bridge.
I just said syrupy in a video. That's awesome.
We're upstate New York. You're allowed to talk about syrup all you want. All you want. So this is the bridge, just by itself. Everything's on 10. Still super big.
Sounds so good.
It doesn't get that kind of lost, overly snappy bridge sound, not surprisingly.
It's a very warm good. I mean, this is an old. I shouldn't say old school, but it's a traditional type of build. People think of PRSs as like a super modern guitar. Paul's not a super modern kind of guy. The action setup on this is kind of like a medium low.
Yep.
Paul likes thick strings and high actions, as we joke about. He's a vintage guy, and so this guitar is the epitome of a vintage guitar that has modern construction techniques that sounds so good and just blends that perfectly.
Yeah.
And is like the next step forward in an old guitar.
I can't not play blues on it. It's weird.
I know.
It's like,
Ooh. Something I forgot to mention. This guitar has a vintage nitro finish. So PRS has two types of nitro finishes. Well, they have more than that actually, but they have a modern nitro that they figured out how to actually make it not crack and check over time, because as you probably know, nitro finishes all will crack over time, and they figure out how to not do that, which is really cool. They use all of that nitro on the whole, anything 2020 plus now in the core line, in the USA stuff. They've used it on private stocks for a long time. But this guitar, a lot of people don't know, in private stock you can actually specify to get the vintage, normal, typical,
the old style
nitro that will actually crack and check over time, which I think is super cool.
Yeah.
I've used it on a couple of our builds. We just got a hollow body bass private stock build in that's intentionally using that vintage nitro, and I intentionally had Paul Miles, let it crack a little bit, and it looks really cool.
Definitely
but this
different.
guitar will age in. It's not supposed to be a relic. It is not a relic guitar.
Right.
But it's made to age with you as you buy it and play it and love it and keep it. It's a player's guitar. I know it sounds crazy because it's $13,000. By the way, it's $13,000. But Paul builds his guitars to be player's guitars. This is a guitar to keep, to play, to enjoy your whole life, and let it crack and check and, play through that, have that nitro wear out as you play through it
It'll
over
live its
time.
life, right?
Exactly. It's made to be broken in. It's like buying a really nice pair of new jeans and then wearing them in yourself, not buying the ones that already have the holes in them.
Right. Exactly.
Right? This isn't a guitar for posers. This is a guitar for true players who are going to keep and play it and love it.
Yeah.
And, you know, or keep it in a vault with
I
the
may
rest of
buy
your
it. Who
collection.
knows?
No, you're not.
No, I won't. I don't have $13,000.
Sorry, back to the pickups.
Let's go through some more combos. So this is we'll do the combo. So it's neck and bridge, humbucker still.
Good save.
I love it. I love it. Cool. So you can split them too. We'll do a couple just for, there's a lot of options, but this is going to be the split neck right now.
Surprisingly glassy.
Pretty glassy.
Very glassy.
Super throaty. Has a lot of that touch characteristic you kind of get from all those old single coils.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. I never even would have thought of that.
It feels like good single coils.
Give us that that bridge there.
Yeah, so this is the bridge split. Yeah, definitely quacky. I mean, that's kind of what you want when you have.
I dig it. I love it.
Split
This
bridge
guitar,
like that.
every position, it's like it just sounds so good. Oh, make it nice and clean. Thanks, Tom.
Tom, the cameraman, hard at work on the sideline as well.
Tom. Gonna apologize for Jay's greasy fingers.
I'm trying to play guitar out here. Cool. Should we give it a little gain just because?
Did you put it in the middle position?
Okay,
I want to hear
so
that nice.
This is the combo. Next
But this is
split.
gonna be a big one with the splits going on.
True. That's a winner.
You like it?
I like it.
You're a Strat guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's more in line with that vintagey kind of like Strat twangy. It's not as full-bodied as the neck, even on the single coil was.
I was about to say the same thing. I think it's kind of interesting. It almost doesn't carry as much like
meat.
the girthiness in the center position for whatever reason. On the single coils, apart those pickups sound incredible. Centered, I was a little bit. Yeah, I don't know, it was kind of fine.
But that's the good thing. There's some variety, right?
For sure.
But different.
But those pickups independently, single coiled, sounded like crazy.
Beautiful.
Like nuts. Okay, give us a little bit of gain.
So go back to the neck on the humbucker.
We don't have to go through every position.
No.
here.
We'll just do neck and bridge.
Yeah.
So this is the neck humbucker with some gain. I like it.
Now you're just having fun.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to have fun at work, guys. Come on. All right, so now it's the same
More
thing.
More videos.
More fun. Now we're going to go to the bridge. Same thing, humbucker, some gain.
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
really,
that thing is a beast.
Super like mid-rangey, aggressive. Like I say, quacky, but like that's not supposed to sound
Not a bad way.
negative.
No.
But it's just like got like that like kind of
Yes.
sound. It really cuts. I would love to hear that in a full band mix. That's got to be the best solo pickup ever, right?
That happens with bridges sometimes, especially like you play. Obviously, humbuckers have a lot more body to them, but a lot of times you're playing with that lead gain tone, and
I'm gonna go get something.
and they work really well. And they sound good, but it doesn't have that long sustain, that touch to it. A little comparison. Let's do it. They're really good. That has all the comfort. You don't have to work for any of the notes on the bridge, which is what you want to do when you're playing that lead stuff. It should just sit comfortably in your hand.
All right, so switch back to clean really quick if you don't mind. So this is something I wanted to show, and we haven't actually done this yet. This is going to be our first time doing it on camera.
Little trade.
Actually, you know what? Play this first. So play the neck position, with everything up on humbucker. And I want to show you the difference in resonance, right? All wood is not made equal. Ooh, that should be the title of this.
Sure.
Of this video. All wood is not made equal. You look at mahogany, right? And you're like, oh, mahogany's mahogany. People think, oh, I have to get ash to get a different tone or this or whatever. And you do get a different tone, but one piece of mahogany does not necessarily sound like the other one.
No.
Especially in the gradings of wood, private stock woods, even the mahogany is like way different tier than your typical any other production guitar. So even compared to a core, I'm willing to bet this guitar is so resonant when you play it, even just acoustically.
Yeah.
It's like a terrible guitar. I play bass. You can just hear it resonate so much. And so this is a core guitar. This is a gorgeous 10 Top 35th anniversary. This is a great guitar, but
different.
I want to show you how different it is. Of course, this isn't a Paul's guitar. We just sold our last Paul's guitar yesterday, but it'll be close enough. Cool. So why don't you hit that neck pickup?
So it's humbucker, neck, everything's on 10. There we go. Let's play all the guitars here. How about that? So say everything's the same. Yeah.
Way different, right?
Yeah.
So obviously this isn't the best comparison. This is a 24 fret guitar. The pickups are different, stuff like that. This is a trem versus a stop tail and stuff. But just to put that guitar in perspective a little bit, that sounds like you're pouring out juicy, gorgeous golden syrup.
It's big. It's easy to play.
And this sounds great too. This is a great guitar. Probably not doing us any favor selling this, but that's that price difference that you get there, right?
Right.
For sure, it's diminishing returns. As you go higher in the price range, you're going to hear a smaller difference. But there's a reason why when people start buying private stocks, they don't go back. You get sucked in because they're like, this is such a phenomenal guitar. And to go from even, say an American Strat or even a custom shop Fender to one of these, you're like, ah. And then when you go from one of those to that, you're like, ah.
Right. And
the resonance is nuts. And then this specific guitar with these specific woods.
And Paul's time.
A lot of Paul's time.
He's gone through all these. So there's that on top of everything else.
It's so nuts. It's absolutely crazy.
Cool.
So,
it's a beautiful thing.
On that great excitement, it is time to end. This is the only one we have. So you should buy it. There's only 36 of them in the country. I already know a bunch of them have sold. So they're not going to last. Also, buy one of these cabs if we still have any by the time you're watching this video. There are 212s that were $429. They're marked down to $299. It's such a good deal. It's ridiculous. 30% off. And we have, I think, we had like 60 of them. We sold 40 in a week?
20 left.
I think we might have 20.
20 and change,
so yeah, grab one of those. And of course, subscribe, share it. We're going to just pump you for money now. So keep buying our stuff. Buy one of these hats, maybe. I don't know, whatever. So that we can keep selling guitars. Thanks so much, guys. See ya.